Welcome to Navia Benefit Solutions, and thank you for trusting us with the administration of your benefits. Today, we will be reviewing FSA, HRA, and COBRA. What I am showing here, we're going to start with registering. If you've not yet registered your employer account, you can do so at naviabenefits.com. You will need a 3-character employer code to register your admin account. That should be included in your implementation materials. You can request that from your implementation specialist if you do not know your 3-character employer code. But you will need that to get started to register. You'll go to naviabenefits.com. In the top right-hand corner, you'll select Register. Then select I'm an employer. If you are also a participant in any of the benefits, you may link your registration together. You would first need to register as a participant. What that does is it allows you to set one username and password and kind of toggle between the participant portal and the employer portal. So you can do that if you are a participant in the benefit as well. But for our purposes today, we'll go to I'm an employer. Then you will complete this information here. Again, you'll need that 3-character employer code. If you have registered a participant account, you can link that username and password here. You'll enter security questions and answers. Once this is completed, you will receive an email, and that email will have a link in it where you can set your password. So this section is setting your username. You'll receive an email to set your password. All right, let me log into a demo company here so we could walk through the employer portal together. We do want to ensure that your experience is as easy and seamless as possible. So we do provide flexibility on how to manage FSA eligibility and contributions. That can be managed either through a file feed or manually through the Navia employer portal here. If you do not currently send an EDI file to Navia, all employee updates, such as new hires and demographic updates and terminations, will be managed here through the employer portal. If you do have a file that is currently in testing, we do require that updates need to be made manually on the employer portal until your file is live and approved for production. So keep that in mind if you're going through the implementation process and you are currently in file testing, but your files are being worked on, you'll just make manual updates here through the portal. Now let's look at how to make employee updates, such as new hires and terminations. So we'll look at adding a new hire first here through the employer portal. So on the portal, I'm going to go over to our left-hand menu here, and I'm going to go to Data Management. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to go to Plan Management, and then I'm going to go to Participants. Here you'll see a list of all of the participants that we currently have in the system. To add a new hire, we're going to go up to the very top left, and we're going to hit Add Participant. Here we're going to enter the employee's demographic information. I will put some dummy information in here. Oops. So you'll enter all of the demographic information. You do want to make sure that you add an email as well. An email address is required for debit cards to be mailed to an individual, so you do want to make sure that you add that email address in. Add an SSN in. And then once you get done building that employee profile by adding their demographic information, then you get to the benefits section. So you'll see a list of all of the benefits that you are able to enroll the employee in. So if you offer HRA, you'll see all of those HRA benefits here. Same is true with FSA. So if you have multiple FSA benefits, you can enroll them in all of the benefits that they have elected. Let's enroll into this plan for the HRA. Once you select enroll in plan, it'll show you the options for the allowable plan years. Maybe there are mid-year hire that you want to add to this existing plan year. You'll add a benefit eligibility date along with an annual benefit. You'll select the pay cycle. So you'll just complete the required information. Then when you're done adding benefits, you'll go to the bottom and hit submit. You will be asked to add direct deposit information if you have it. If you don't have direct deposit information, no worries. Employees can add this at any time on their participant portal. So if you don't have that, that's no problem. You'll see a green successful message up at the top that our participant information has been added and saved successfully. So that's as easy as it is for adding a new person. Other demographic changes or eligibility changes rather, such as terminations, will also be managed through this portal. And I'll show you how to do that while we're on this participant screen here. On our participant screen, we have a list of all of the folks that are in our system. So you can locate the employee from the list here, or you can search. I'm going to search. This is the account that I just added. If you click on their name, it will open up their account details. And up at the very top, you can see multiple options. So I have personal information. This can be used if you need to change an employee's address or demographic details like that. You can see the benefits that they're currently enrolled in. And to add a termination, we're going to go to the eligibility tab. What's cool is you can terminate all benefits. So if the participant has multiple benefits, you don't have to go through and apply a termination date to each and every one. You could select terminate all benefits. That will populate today's date in here. Or if you, maybe the employee has, let's say healthcare FSA and dependent care FSA as an example, and they had a qualified change in status and just need to terminate the dependent care. You can do so down here at the bottom by adding individual term dates to benefits. Okay, I get my successful message up here that that termination date has been saved. Going to close out of that there. It's important to note that when you do terminate an employee's account, that debit card is going to be deactivated. So if you have an FSA or benefit tied to a debit card, we will deactivate that debit card for the individual at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, the date of the termination. So that will take care of that automatically, the date of the termination. Okay. The next thing that I want to show you here, I'm going to go back to our main menu here. I'm going to just go to Home. And looking at the left-hand menu here, I can see a notification section. So I do see a little red icon, which means there's an action item for me on the portal. If I click on that notification, it's going to show me outstanding reports. So as I mentioned earlier, contributions are something that is manually reconciled here on our employer portal if you do not have a file feed. So if you have a file feed reporting FSA contributions, you will not need to do this step. However, if you do not have a file feed coming from a payroll vendor or your file feed is still in testing and not yet approved for production, you will need to do this step of reporting contributions to Navia. So we pre-populate a report for you. We call it the EDR. So you'll see that term here on the portal quite a bit, but that EDR shows all participants in your FSA or your HRA, if applicable, if you offer an HRA, and that HRA is not annually funded. So you offer an HRA that's like quarterly or monthly funded, you would receive an EDR for that. But an EDR stands for Eligibility and Deduction Report and is used to report per paycheck contributions to Navia. Or in the case of an HRA, it wouldn't be employee per paycheck deductions, it would be just employer funding. So we're going to look at that next here on the portal, but I did want to show you, if you have a red icon here in your notifications, it does mean that you have outstanding items, and most likely they are due to these EDRs, or eligibility deduction report, which means you need to report over contributions to us. So a couple different ways to get to the report. I can either click on the notification here, or from our home menu, we go to data management and then pending eligibility and deductions. This is going to show me all of the outstanding reports. This is a demo company, so you'll see that there are a handful of outstanding reports here. You absolutely should not see this many reports within your portal, so keep that in mind. This is just for demo purposes, that there are so many. You should have one report per pay date, and the report is due to Navia the day before your pay date. We do make this as simple and quick and easy for you as possible. So you'll see once we click inside the report, we have a summary up here at the top, and we have all of our FSA participants, and this would be true if you have again, an HRA that is not annually funded. You would get a report that shows all of your participants in the benefit. And then here we have the expected deduction amount. So this is what we think should be deducted from the employee paycheck for this pay date. Now, if this is the correct dollar amount, so for Cody Cook, $100 for healthcare and $100 for daycare, or excuse me, $200. If this matches payroll records, you don't need to do anything. However, if the dollar amount listed in this expected column does not match your payroll records, the intention is that you enter the correct dollar amount that happened in payroll in this new value section. So you're basically just overriding what the expected deduction amount is. And in that scenario, so here we have $101 as the new value. We would post $101 as contribution to this healthcare benefit rather than the 100. So you're essentially just overriding the expected deduction amount. So the end goal is always to make sure that this report matches your payroll records. At the end of the day, that's our goal. We want to make sure that what we are posting to employee accounts as contributions are actually what match your payroll records. So once everything matches up, you would go to the bottom, agree to the terms, and you can submit. One thing to note also, you'll see here a permanent change. I do want to call that out. So this is a really helpful checkbox if somebody experienced a qualified change in status and their deduction amount is permanently changing moving forward. You can select this box, and what that will do is the next report that's generated for your next pay date, it will put the new value here as the expected. So you don't have to override it every month. You're reporting that as a permanent change, and then we'll expect, you know, $101 or whatever that new value is. So that's a helpful thing. If maybe somebody's just coming back off of a leave of absence and they're just catching up a contribution, something like that, and it's just a one-time different value amount, you wouldn't need to check permanent change, but this is helpful if you if it is truly an ongoing change. Okay, I get my successful message up here at the top, so it does show me that it has been submitted successfully. So this report will be available to you 7 days before your pay date, and you will get an email notification once this report is ready. And again, if you do not have a file feed, you will be responsible for submitting this for each pay date to Navia. And also, if your file feed is in testing, you'll submit this until the file is approved for production. And this report will be for FSAs and any HRAs. If you have an HRA, although it is employer dollars, if it is not an annually funded HRA, meaning at the beginning of the year, you make the entire pot of money available to the employee. If you're, uh, allowing a certain dollar amount to be available throughout the year. In that case, you will have an EDR or an eligibility deduction report to submit for your HRA, and that will kind of drive the deposits of those contributions and employer contributions into employee accounts. Okay, the next item I want to review here on the employer portal is reports. So we do have a really great reporting suite here on the portal. And from our main menu, we do have a report section. So I'm going to just click there. I think the two reports that I use the most and I find the most value in is the year-to-date report and the disbursement report. So we'll take a look at both of those. On the year-to-date report at the top, you can select which plan. So this is going to give you an option for all of the plans that you administer or that we administer for you. And then here you can really tailor the report to your needs. So report period, you could do the whole plan year or a specific date range. If you do have departments, you can select which departments you want to pull on that report. You can also pull in additional columns. So if you're looking for debit card status or leave of absence dates, something like that, you can pull in those data points. You can generate the report, and it does give you an Excel file that pops up at the bottom. And here's an example of that year-to-date report. So on this year-to-date report, you can see a few things. Annual election, we have carryover. If you do offer a carryover, you will see that information. What's nice about the employer portal is it is very dynamic. So if you don't have a carryover, if maybe you offer a grace period, you won't see any carryover information. So it's going to show you information based on the specific plan details and design details that you have for your benefit offerings, which is cool. We have benefit effective date. So each employee, you're going to see some pretty detailed information points about their account, utilization rate at an employee level, termination date. This is great for auditing purposes. If you need to see if term dates have been reported to Navia, you can do so there. You will notice that the year-to-date report is broken out by benefit. So the first chunk is going to be all of our healthcare folks, then all of our daycare folks, and if you do offer a limited healthcare, you will see that down at the bottom. Okay, the next report I want to review here is the disbursement report. So this is going to be really important for the FSA in purposes of plan funding. Generally, our FSAs are funded based on disbursement funding, or in other words, utilization. So we would provide a weekly disbursement report. We'll send you an email once it's available here on the employer portal. And this disbursement report is going to show you all claim payouts to employees for the week. And you will receive one report per benefit. So if you do offer an FSA and an HRA, you would receive two separate reports, one disbursement report for FSA, one disbursement report for HRA. They are all separated by plan. But the disbursement report will show you the claim payouts, what we've paid employees for that week, and then we will debit the bank account on file equal to the amount of total claims paid for the week. So the disbursement report is pretty important. It does drive plan funding in most scenarios and would be used as an invoice to match your debits. So we could take a look at what a disbursement report looks like. Um, Here on disbursement reports, again, you can filter by plan up here at the top. And there's two options here. So generate report and snapshot reports. Generating a report is going to give you a dynamic report based on what you're selecting down here. But what you want to look at is snapshot reports when you're trying to match up debits from your bank account and disbursement reports. All of the stagnant reports that we are providing on a weekly basis are going to be loaded here under the snapshot reports tab. So keep that in mind. Generating report, that is just a dynamic. It's pulling information directly from our system. However, the snapshot reports are going to match what your debit totals are. And we can take a look at a sample disbursement report I have here. So on this sample report, you'll see that there are a few different tabs. The cover sheet is great. It's going to show you at a glance the total due for that week. So this here, $786.68, this would be the total amount due. If we have a direct debit pull from your bank account, this would be the dollar amount. And you can see kind of a breakdown of what that total is. So manual claims, debit card disbursements, and any adjustments. And each of these have their own individual tab. So it is very detailed and gives you lots of specifics, which is great. So we can look at our manual claim disbursements. This tab is going to show you any manual claims that we paid out. So this would be for folks that submitted a claim through our mobile app or our portal, or basically anybody that didn't use a debit card. So maybe you offer a plan that does not have a debit card tied to it, such as an HRA. In that scenario, you would see all of your reimbursements under the manual claim. Some people just prefer to pay out of pocket and receive reimbursement. So manual claims are anything that a debit card wasn't used for. And then debit card disbursements, this is showing you debit card swipes. And the adjustments tab will always be here. It's always good to take a look at it. You may not see adjustments very often, but the tab is always there. A good example of a adjustment would be a participant used their card at a dentist office. Insurance came back and paid more than expected, so the dentist refunded some money. That would be money back onto their Navia debit card, which in turn would be an adjustment. So things like that may show up there, but again, if there are any adjustments, you'll see them reflected on the cover sheet as well. So this is a very important report. Keep an eye out for it. By default, we set them up on weekly on Tuesday or Wednesday. If you prefer a specific day of the week, let your implementation specialist know. We're happy to adjust that. I'm going to go back to our main menu here. And then I'm going to show invoices next here on the employer portal. So we do bill 1 month in arrears. So we bill on the last business day of the month for that month's services. So if your first benefit month with Navia is going to be January of 2023, you would receive your invoice on January 31st, and that would be for January services. So we would email that invoice to you, and we would also make it available here on the employer portal, so you can look back at any time and see those invoices. During the implementation process, you can look at forms and documents. The The menu here has a lot of helpful tools. There's a Navia Benefits Academy. This is really helpful material resources for you and your employees. You know, we have ongoing webinars throughout open enrollment season, lots of great resources here. So our employer portal not only has administrative details, but also just really good resources to provide to you and your employees as well. There's a forms and document section. On this section, you will see employee-facing materials as well as your plan materials. So your plan document, your SBC, if you have an HRA, we do create a employee-facing HRA guide. All of those would be available here in your plan forms and documents. We do create plan document and summary plan description for FSA, and those will be available by the start of the plan year and loaded to this portal. You'll get an email notification once those get loaded though. Going back to our home page here. Here on the home page, I do just kind of want to show you some really cool metrics we have on the home page. So important dates, things like ordering deadlines or, claim submission deadlines for your FSA or your HRA. Those are all going to be listed here. Plan funding activity. So if you're disbursement funded, which is the norm, you'll see the dollar amounts and debit activity, which is cool. Average election information, FICA tax saving information. If you do offer a benefit with a debit card, if you have an FSA with cards tied, you will see debit card swipe data. On this demo portal, we don't have debit cards tied to these dummy accounts, so there's no claims or card swipe data, but you would see that on your homepage, which is neat. If you do have files, you can see file import data, and then customer service call information is also here in metrics. All right, well, that takes us through the important administrative items for FSA and HRA. So I am going to kick it over to Ann Benson now. Ann is going to walk us through the COBRA portion of our administrative duties.
Hi, I'm Ann, and I am going to give you a quick overview of our COBRA portal. So from the Navia homepage, where Shelby was just showing you the FSA and HRA, at the bottom of your homepage, you are going to have Access COBRA Direct Bill. You're going to want to click on that, and it will redirect you to our COBRA portal. Pardon me, I'm having technical difficulties. We'll try this one more time. If you click on Access COBRA Direct Bill, it'll redirect you to the COBRA portal.
And it's not showing your screen at the moment.
Oh, okay. Do we have it now?
Yes.
I apologize for that. Do this one more time. At the bottom of the Navia homepage, you have the Access COBRA Direct Bill link. You click on it, and it takes you to our COBRA portal. So from here, you have all the data that we have entered for your COBRA plans. Over on the left-hand side, under the account, you have all of the information specific to your company. And again, this is a test company, so it is the high and low of what we have: the address, the phone number, your your contacts. You can view under this plan, you can view all the plans that we have listed for your company. And anything in blue like this, you can click on and it will provide you additional information. So if you want to see the rates that we have, you can click on the blue, it'll give you the plan details. And then down here at the bottom, you see the rates, and these rates are effective 11/1/2022. You come over here to the blue view, and it shows you what we have listed for the different tiers and the rates. So you can view each plan that we have under that tab. And then from here, we'll go over entering the members. You click on the member, and you're going to do add member. We'll start with the new hires. The new hire is what generates that initial rights notice. It's a very simple entry, simple letter. It just basically states that you've enrolled in active benefits through your company. If for some reason you were to lose those active benefits, you should be receiving a COBRA notice when those benefits term. So because it's this simple, we don't have to have dependent information, you don't have to have plan information. You click on the division, and anything with a red asterisk gets entered. So you would enter first name, last name, social, gender, and their address. And we have it where it adds and family. So if there are dependents, the letter is going to print it out with your employee's name and then and family, which will cover any of the requirements for the COBRA initial rights notice. And then you hit add member, and it pops in our system. All of our letters generate the next business morning. So anything entered today will flow through our system and generate tomorrow morning and print out. So once this is entered, you hit add member and you're good to go. It saves it in the system and you can go on. So we will also look at the qualified beneficiaries. This is going to be where you've had an active employee come off of benefits, or you have had a dependent that needs benefits, an aged off child, or a divorce, or the death of an employee, and their widow needs to receive the notice. So you have to pick a division. Even if you don't have divisions and it's just the name of the company, it won't let you go forward without picking a division up here. And anything with a red asterisk, you have to populate. So we have the address. You come up here. You have to have a social. Gender has to be picked, and the birthday. So once you have the fields with the asterisks populated, you click next. And now it gets into more of the specifics with the employee. So anything over here on the left-hand side, the tobacco use, the employee type, the payroll type, they can all be left at this default as unknown. You don't have to do anything with those. The coupon book type is what we print out the monthly payments that are due. So you're going to leave that as a default as well. Over here is where you either pick the employee as separated or dependent. When you pick dependent, you have the option of the event types. The divorce, you've got an aged off at 26. You've got the death of the employee, or the employee is able for Medicare, and then you start entering the event date. And over here, you're going to enter the employee name the dependent was covered under and their social security number. And then you're going to proceed with the information. We're actually going to do this as an employee though. So employee has lost their active benefits. Termination is the most common. We do have retirement and others, but termination tends to be the most common. You are going to put in the actual date that they separated from the company or had the reduction in hours, not the date that they lose their active benefits. So the actual event date. The system is designed when we build out your plans to know when the benefits under COBRA will start to kick in. So if they're good through the end of the month, our system knows this. If it's the date of the event that their active benefits are discontinued, again, our system will know that. So this is why you just use the actual event date and the system will take care of the rest. The state of higher enrollment would be the date that they went on active benefits. And if you have it in front of you, that's great, put the actual date. If you do not have that in front of you, you don't need to worry about it. It doesn't affect their COBRA benefits. You can use a default date. Don't spend a whole lot of time trying to track down that active date. Like I said, you can use a default if you don't have it in front of you. And then most of the time, the employee has not been offered COBRA already. This is not going to be a secondary event when they're on COBRA. So we'll pick no, and we're going to hit save and continue. So here is where we get into what the participant was enrolled in at the time of separation. So you click on Add Plan. You're going to choose whatever, like I said, whatever they were enrolled in and the coverage level. So we're going to say this person had COB and spouse. And then it shows you what the charge is for the COBRA benefits. These 18 month, 60 month, these are all default, the COBRA guidelines. So these you're gonna let be. And like I was saying before, the system, based on how we have built out the plans, knows when their first date of coverage needs to be under COBRA. So it's gonna show you that. It's actually gonna show you how long their COBRA is going to last as well. It's a nice little overview of what's going to be offered in the timeline for it. So you click on save, and you continue to add plans until you have everything that they were enrolled in. So I'm not going to add another one at this point because it's going to be the same process, but you would just continuing to add plans until you've got them all there. You're going to hit save and continue. So at this point, you're going to add the dependents. And I'm going to do an error on purpose to show you something. We're going to say this is a dependent child, and we are going to go with Jelly Bean. The address is going to be, as long as the address is the same, it defaults that way. Now, if you have a dependent that's 21 or 22 not living at the same address as their parent, you would unclick this and populate that. But probably about 99% of the time, it's the same address. You're going to do the social again. You're going to do their date of birth. You do need to enter a gender. And then this defaults. So I purposely did dependent child. The rate structure I picked was QB plus spouse, and there are no plans to assign this person to because I did not pick the rate structure where there was a dependent involved. So at this point, if you're trying to assign it and it's not showing up, we've either misclicked on this, where when you click on spouse, you now see the Kaiser plan, or when you were adding the plan, you may have misclicked on the rate, like it should have been QB plus family instead of the QB plus spouse I picked. And you can cancel out and go back in and change the rate structure of the plans if it was a mishap that way, or just come back up here and click the right relationship. But it won't let you try to put a dependent on a plan that you didn't say the dependent needed to be on. So at this point, we'll say, at this point, we'll save this. All right, so now we have saved the dependent assigned to the plan. And you would do that if there are multiple dependents, you would just continue to click on the blue add dependent until you've got them all assigned. So you come through, you can add subsidies here if it's part of a severance package, or the company has just decided that they want to pick up however many months or whatever portion of COBRA, you would add this here. This is a very specific subsidy schedule because it is your money and it's covering funds. So it makes you come in and specify. It's going to say the subsidy start date is today, but if you want it to be for 2 months, let's say 2 months, it would start October 1st, and we would take it through to October, the end of November. And you can put the subsidy in either as a percent at 100% or 50%, or whatever agreement you have made with the participant, or you can do a flat amount, like I'm going to pay $100 of your medical. You can do it that way, and you just type in the amount, and we'll do this for medical, and we'll add. If you have vision and dental plans as well, you have to put a subsidy in for each plan. Just because it's that specific. So you would do it per plan if you have them, and then you're going to hit save and continue. If you are one of these states, if the address is one of these states, you would need to click on the letter insert. It's additional verbiage that we have that goes out with the COBRA notices that is required. You hit save and continue. And then we don't typically have letter attachments set up anything specific for a company. If you had something that we had built in for you specifically, it would show and you would click on it. But typically we do not do additional letters in the COBRA notices. And then at this point, you would click add member. So you get this little green box up here at the top. The jelly bean has been added. And again, the same as the new hire notice, that will print out the next morning, print out and be mailed. You can also go back in and find the participants you've added. If you're not sure what was added, if you're not sure that you got all of the plans correct, or if you've added 2 or 3 people and you just don't remember where you stopped or started, you can come in and you click on, you type in the last name. If you have more information, you can type it in and it'll just hopefully just pull up the one person, but we have several, because this is our test site, we have several different of our jelly beans. And you just click on whichever one and you pull it up. It's a nice little, we have a nice little feature with this that gives you an overview in the top blue box of what has been entered, what's due, what's elected. It's just a highlight of the participant. And you can see their name, address, all of the event information, and subsidies. This is not the person I just put in, this is a different jelly bean. But you can see all of their information, their data here. You can, under this participant, view the same as you could with a client, with your information. You can see the dependents that were added. If there were dependents added, you can see subsidies. You can see the payments that have been made. You can also click on this communications tab, and it will show you any letter that we have mailed out. So the initial notices, plan change notice would be a rate change most likely. This notice with no payment is that they've missed a premium payment. Anything in blue here can be clicked on, and then you can download it. You have full visibility to the documents that we mail out, so you can open it up, you can see it, you can save it for your records, or if the participants contacted you and is asking for their notice and it's still in the mail, you can download anything that we have mailed out. You have full visibility of anything we send to the participants. So that's going to be the overview of the QBs that we have put in the system. I do want to show you as well, under this imports and reports tab, you can your monthly premiums that we disperse to you, that we have collected and dispersed, the reports that go along with those are under this imports and reports, and it's under accounting reports. And you have to choose the type, and you're going to choose a remittance report. And then being a new client, you will not see anything for the first month because the remittance report is run after we've collected all the premiums at the end of the month. So if you go in right now, you're not going to see reports because you've just begun COBRA with us. But at the end of your first active month, you will see a report, and you click on the blue report. Same as the other stuff. If it's blue, you can click on it and see the reports. And you are going to want to run this one. I find that the Adobe is the best way to run this. It's the most viewer friendly. You're going to click Run Report. You will get an email to your inbox that says that the report is ready, but you cannot view that report from that link in your inbox. You have to come back up to this Imports and Reports and go to the job queue, and then you will see the reports that have been run, and you can click View on it, and it'll download the report for you. The reports that you've run actually store in this job queue. So if you've run 2 or 3 reports over the course of the day and you had one but you forgot to save it, you don't have to go through the whole process of rerunning the report. It will be saved in your job queue. You just click on it and re-download it, and it'll be there for you to view. So that is the overview of the COBRA portal. Entering the participants, looking for the participants, and then our remittance report. So I am going to kick this back over to Shelby.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, this does conclude our webinar presentation today. Thank you so much for watching this recording, and we look forward to serving you and administering your benefits successfully in the future. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.